Hello, everyone, once again, and welcome back to the podcast. It's 3 a.m., and this is important. I'm Matt, and with me, as always, is Jessy.
Hello.
And today is kind of a special episode. Not really, but also sort of, yes. What are we doing?
Doing a grab bag episode.
A grab bag episode. And what does that mean exactly?
It's basically just shorter form questions and answers that wouldn't necessarily fill an entire episode, but I don't know.
Yeah.
We thought we'd do anyways, you know?
And since this is the last episode of the season, it might be fun to just close it off with a bunch of stuff we've been curious about in the past.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like it's a good closer, a good way to send us on our way until season 2.
Yeah. I definitely learned some things this episode, and I'm excited.
And if that's not just the main purpose of doing what we do, just
Yeah.
to learn. Knowledge is power.
Having fun isn't hard when you've got a library card.
Word.
All right.
Cool. So how do you want to kick things off, man? What do you want to do?
Well, we've got like a kind of a mix of questions. Like Matt suggested most of them. I've got a few in there. So we're going to start with a bunch of yours, I think, first.
Okay. I actually don't know the answers to any of the questions I asked, so this will be fun. I'll learn something now.
What is the longest walkable path on Earth?
Ooh, yeah.
And I thought I fucking knew this one. I was so wrong, though.
Oh, really?
I was like, oh, like Pacific Coast Trail or whatever, right?
Right, yeah. That's kind of what I would figure.
Alaska to Mexico. That's what I thought it would be.
Yeah, it's a very long path.
I was wrong. I was wrong by like a lot of kilometers.
Well, I was hoping I would be wrong, so
yeah.
That's good.
So in 2019, Reddit user CBZ3000 played around on Google Maps to find the longest route that you could walk without having to cross an ocean. So technically it's not, I wouldn't like say it's like one set path.
Okay.
But still we're gonna count it.
Yeah, okay.
It stretches 22,387 kilometers.
Wow.
It runs from Cape Town, South Africa to Magadan, Russia.
Okay.
Which is basically like right across from Alaska and Russia.
Yeah, so like right at the edge.
Yeah, literally right at the edge.
Right at the edge of Russia.
Of, I think, the Bering Sea.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah.
Did it say how like long it would take you to walk that far? Like
you betcha. So it crosses 16 countries: South Africa, Botswana, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Uganda, South Sudan, Georgia, Egypt, Jordan, Syria, Turkey, Romania, Belarus, and Russia.
Cool.
The route essentially ascends and descends the equivalent of 13 Mount Everests.
Whoa, my God.
Google estimates that it takes 4,492 hours or 187 days to walk the entire distance. However, this is assuming you could walk 24 hours a day, which you can't.
Right.
So more reasonably, if you walked 8 hours a day, the walk would take 562 days to complete, not including rest days.
Well, that's not bad.
And as you can probably guess, nobody's done it. Nobody's done it yet.
Yeah, I would imagine they haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, just the length and the kind of commitment that it would take. It seems like it wouldn't be the safest walk.
It's not. That's like one of the reasons why it's not been
You're
done.
going through a lot of, pretty unreputable places.
Yeah, like you'd have to walk across literal war zones. Apparently visas are like impossible to really get in a few of these countries. You're also walking through some of the Sahara Desert.
Right.
Which would be
might
like
not
an
be doable.
Absolute nightmare. Yeah.
Might be sort of doable, but not really.
I'm sure like somebody will do it one day and there'll be like some crazy documentary about it or something.
I really hope so.
But
I feel like it would take you at least a couple of years to do it.
Yeah. I'd say like 2.5 years seems like a good goal.
Yeah.
But that's the longest walkable path.
That's wild.
22,000 kilometers long.
That's too many kilometers to walk,
That's
I think.
too many.
I hate walking a kilometer.
Yeah.
So multiply that by 22,000.
Yeah, I'm not a big walker, but I definitely know after like a 10K hike, which I feel like
pretty average.
Yeah, is like very average. I'm definitely pooped.
Yeah, it's a tiring amount of time to walk.
I've never once the next day after going on something like that thought, let's do it again today.
Yeah.
You know, I've never.
Let's do this every day for the rest of my life.
For 562 days straight. So
it's a bit much.
That's a lot.
It's a bit much.
That's a lot.
Bit much.
Second question is, what are the first accounts of domesticated cats?
Hmm.
Which was kind of a fun one. According to the Smithsonian, humans began domesticating cats in 7500 BC.
Okay. A while back.
Yeah. Apparently, we used to use weasels for pest control before like cats kind of came into our lives.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if that trend kept up?
So
Everyone
weird.
has pet weasels.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Weasels are weird and nasty.
Weasels are weaselly.
Yeah. Ugh. But then we switched to cats because they're better hunters, first and foremost, and then they're way more pleasant to have around the house.
Yeah, it's very true.
Yeah. Domesticated cats came right along with us because they've been around for so long during the Age of Discovery.
Okay.
So we would keep them on ships again for pest control, and they just kind of spread throughout the planet.
Right.
Right along with kind of Western Europeans as we, discovered the New World and all that fun stuff. Fun little bonus fact, cats apparently domesticated themselves.
Wait, what?
Yeah, so like 7500 BC is about the time that we stopped.
Domesticating weasels?
Well, yes. That we stopped like roaming around and we actually like settled down. And apparently, once we started settling into villages and like little towns and stuff, they just kind of wandered in and
cats were like, hey, what's going on with these people?
Yeah, you got a warm fire. You got lots of mice running around. Setup. And they just domesticated themselves.
Damn, that's amazing.
Yeah, I thought that was like a neat little
I have like a little fun fact about domesticated cats as well.
Okay.
So I was playing Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh, no. Okay.
And every time you take off on your ship from your settlement, there is a cat in the boat. And I was like, that can't be a thing they did. And apparently it was.
Yes, it was.
There was a ship cat because cats represented the goddess Freya.
Huh.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And she was like a protective goddess, right? So
yeah. I think Athena in Greek mythology was represented via cats. There's also like obviously a fair few Egyptian gods that were represented via cats.
Yeah.
But that's very cool. Like we had to work hard to domesticate dogs, but
yeah, cats just willingly gave themselves up.
Yeah. So cool.
You know what? You can take care of me.
Which I really like as a cat person. Nothing against dogs. Alrighty then. What kind of micro radiation are we exposed to on a daily basis?
Yes, this was something I was fascinated about because I don't actually know what kind of radiation we're exposed to daily.
A lot.
Yeah.
Constantly.
Really?
Yeah. I thought that was I knew we were constantly exposed to it, but still learned a lot. The International Atomic Energy Agency says that based on where you are located, it depends.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough.
High latitudes and proximity to the Earth's poles expose you to greater levels of cosmic radiation. And there are also just places on Earth that emit more background radiation than other spots based off like the minerals in the ground and things like that.
I guess that does make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. They further explain that everything around us emits radiation.
Oh.
The planet itself emits it from like our core.
Okay.
There's also the minerals in the Earth. We're exposed to it from space in the form of cosmic radiation. So any radiation that comes in from space is cosmic radiation.
Sure.
The water we drink and the food we eat all contain trace amounts of radiation. And this is so cool, but we even have naturally occurring radioactive material in our own bodies.
Really?
Yeah. Isn't that neat?
What the hell?
Yeah. Obviously, it's like non-harmful, but yeah, all humans are literally radioactive.
Radioactive. It's real.
It's real.
It's true.
They were telling us, they were trying to educate us.
Amazing.
Yeah, I just thought that was like really fascinating. That is, when you're born, you have radioactive material in your body.
That's interesting. I did not know that.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So a safe yearly amount of radiation for a regular person is listed as 1 millisievert per year.
Okay.
And for radioactive workers, that number bumps up to 100 millisieverts a year.
Oh.
So for kind of just as a quick reference, a standard X-ray exposes you to 0.2 millisieverts of radiation.
Okay.
So most of us are like well within the range of just 1.
Sure.
And when I worked at the airport, I did X-rays,
I guess you did X-rays and stuff, so you were exposed to that.
Yeah, we had all sorts of radiation, but they had like lead curtains and stuff. And
right.
They did like measurements and things, and there was like 0 extra radiation.
I also find it fascinating that we still use lead as the safeguard for radiation.
Why is that?
Well, I don't know. We've just never come up with anything else that can protect us from
Yeah.
radiation rather than just lead.
I don't know. I don't know if there's anything denser, but it's got to be the most cost-effective option, I suppose, if we're still using it.
Yeah, I would suppose so.
Yeah.
And it's the only thing we basically use lead for these days.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's like kind of about it that I have.
It's all good. I think that really answered the question.
Yeah.
And I learned something.
You're radioactive.
You're radioactive.
What? It also
Wow.
like specified, I guess maybe just as like a footnote, like ionized radiation. So
Right.
radiation being like the breakdown of atoms over time.
Yeah,
And then like electrons and like whatnot shoot out of the atoms.
sure.
And then those things that are shooting out of the atoms become the radiation. But ionizing radiation is radiation that can like affect us. And
Right,
like,
that's actually harmful radiation.
yeah, can like harm us and stuff like that. And really there's not anything supernatural that we would
Right.
come across consistently that contains ionized radiation.
Okay,
Most radiation either goes right through us without ever hitting us,
right.
or is just straight weak enough that like our skin can actually block it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So very rarely do we come in contact with that. So it's not really an issue.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's why we all don't have cancer all the time.
Not all the time.
Well, cancer from radiation all the time.
Right.
When and why did we start milking cows?
Yeah, that's one that I've always wondered.
This one was tough. So we don't know who the sick fuck was. The first milked a cow. Something with that guy's brain wasn't right.
Yeah.
That's fucked up.
I almost squeezed that.
Oh, I'm going to get me some cow titty. But basically all we do know is that the first evidence of us milking cows is dated to 4000 BC in Britain and Northern Europe.
Okay.
The reason we know that is because archaeologists have found like clay pots and stuff from the Neolithic era
Right.
and just found fat content from bovines.
Okay.
And that's kind of like how we know, how we've dated it.
I guess that's not a bad metric to use.
Yeah. I didn't really find a why either, other than
Milk.
it's just useful. Yeah. Other than milk being beneficial.
I just
containing
really want to know
nutrients
what was
and-
going through whoever
Yeah.
milked the cow first. What was going through their head when they saw that big fat udder?
Give me that cow juice.
Do you think I could squeeze those things and something might happen?
Well, I mean, clearly they know that they produce milk
Yeah,
from
yeah.
like calves and stuff. But
Yeah, and they're-
honestly, maybe it was someone that was just like starving one day.
And like decided to try out cow milk because they
Just-
had nothing else.
Yeah, just desperate.
But they didn't
and-
want to kill their cow because then
yeah.
that ruins mating possibilities and all that.
Or maybe someone just had a kink and
Really wanted to suck some dangly bits.
convinced someone to try it too.
Yeah.
And
Whatever the process was, it's still being used today. So congratulations, you started something.
you started something. What animals perceive wider color spectrums than humans?
That's something I know. I know there are animals that see wider spectrums of color. I just don't know what they are and what they see.
Yeah,
Also, it just blows my mind that there's more color than we can actually perceive.
I know. Such a cool thing. I think
It
that's
actually bothers me.
really.
I wish I could fucking see more than I see. I want to know what other colors there are because, like, you can't think of a color that doesn't exist.
You can't. Apparently, women see colors slightly better than men do.
Yeah,
Are
it's
able
in
to, like,
shades of red. I
distinguish
think
them.
that's like the main
Yeah.
misnomer between men and women.
Is it? I know
There's, like-
more men are colorblind by like a lot
Yeah,
than women. I do
Yeah.
know that. But essentially, humans have cones in our eyes. That's how we see colors.
yes,
Rods being, of course, our kind of light receptors.
Yeah.
But humans have 3 cones. Each cone sees red, green, and blue.
right.
RGB, the main primary colors that we can see.
Yes,
I kind of want to start off with the Mac Daddy
the Mac Daddy.
of color reception. And in my opinion, like top 3 coolest animals on the planet.
Wait, can I guess what it
Of
is?
course you can.
I feel like it's the mantis shrimp.
It is.
Yes.
It is the mantis
I don't know why I
shrimp
remembered that, but yeah.
that has like that punches its fucking victims. That's why I like it so much. I don't even like it because of the color. I just like that it punches so fast it creates a vacuum in the water.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. It's like 76 feet per second or something.
Yeah,
This
it's
little
basically
shrimpy-
like the only real world example of a Hadouken that we have.
Yeah. So cool. So badass. But not only does it have a crazy punch, it has 16 cones in its eyes.
So like 16 different forms of cones.
Yeah. So I can see 10 times better than we can, or like 10 times more colors than we can see.
I want to know what those colors look like.
I know, the world would be
Imagine,
so
dude.
crazy.
It would be so beautiful, I bet.
know.
It would be so confusing.
I know.
Oh,
Something that like psychedelics really taught me, I think, doing those for the first few times anyways, was
Yeah.
just like, I don't know. Exactly as you said, we can only perceive what we can perceive, but
yeah.
there's
Can't see a color that doesn't exist.
Yeah, their perception of the world is just, it's got to be vastly different.
Oh, yeah. And you can probably see so much more.
Probably so much more beautiful than what we can imagine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's a freaking shrimp.
just even being able to see like ultraviolet or gamma rays must be so neat.
So in addition to the mantis shrimp, all birds can see more colors than we can. They're just better than we can.
That makes sense for their ability to see things from a wide distance, right? Like from a very far distance.
Well, that's like kind of that's like a whole different thing.
But being able to make out the differences in colors and movement and stuff, I think that would help, right?
Yeah. Of course. So basically the primary difference is that they have an ultraviolet cone.
Okay.
So they can see in the ultraviolet spectrum, which obviously we cannot. And that just adds an insane amount of colors. They also have a colored droplet of oil like within their eye.
Oh, really?
That further enhances the amount of colors they can see.
Damn, I wonder if we can extract that and see if it does anything.
And then inject it into our own eyes.
Yeah.
That'd be wild.
Right?
But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool that they can do that. There's also an eagle, like eagle's eyes and like certain hawk's eyes are basically like telescopic lenses. With the shape of their eye, just like you mentioned. So on top of the extra color, they can like almost zoom in with their eyes, right? They can see for like hundreds and hundreds of meters.
Crazy.
And we cannot.
No, we cannot.
On top of birds and mantis shrimp, we also have all butterflies and bees.
All butterflies and bees?
So bees actually also only have 3 cones, but apparently they're just like better than ours are. And they can, through that, see just more colors than we can.
Interesting.
Or like a wider range, I guess, of the RGB mixtures and colors and things. So that's cool. Butterflies are the same as birds. They can see in UV light.
Oh, nice.
That's part of the reason they're colored the way they are, like can come in so many like various shapes and sizes.
That makes sense. I bet butterflies would look vastly different to us if we had ultraviolet perception.
Yeah. And that's kind of all I went into. We actually have a surprisingly good range of colors that we can see compared to like the animal kingdom at large.
Sure. Yeah.
So there's definitely species that I've missed that have a better range, but those are kind of the main ones.
Right. Okay.
I do want to give a super special shout out to David Attenborough's documentary series on Netflix called Life in Color.
David Attenborough.
So cool. Love that guy. But it covers a ton of different animals that can see more of the like color spectrum than we can. And it shows you what the world looks like through their eyes.
Oh, that's cool.
So we can actually, you mentioned butterflies earlier. They like developed a lens.
Yeah.
Where it shows you what butterflies see. And then it, shows a bunch of butterflies and they're doing their all sorts of things. And yeah.
I gotta watch that shit.
Yeah, if you haven't, it's great.
I haven't seen it.
There's like one species of crab in it where basically, even though they look like red to us or whatever color they were, I think it was red, maybe reddish brown. Anyway, they actually like absorb a ton of UV light and so they appear black.
Oh.
So they stand out.
Okay.
Like when they're all on the sand on the beach and stuff, they've got like these huge freaking claws that they hold up in the sky so that it's just like this big black blob that other female crabs can see.
Interesting. Okay.
Anyways, yeah, there's all sorts of cool examples about it. And yeah.
Very, very cool.
No, I'm not going to say anymore. I'm not going to spoil it for those who haven't seen it.
Yeah, go check out Life in Color like I'm going to later.
But it's worth it. What are some weird forms of ancient contraception?
Weird forms of ancient contraception.
So I think most of us have probably heard that like condoms originated via sheep's intestines.
Yes.
Which in
really
gross.
Itself is really fucking weird. And I can't imagine doing that.
Yeah.
But, anything for the nookie.
Yeah. I mean, having a baby was an even bigger responsibility, I feel like, back in the day.
Or less of a responsibility. I bet it was really easy to kill a baby back then.
Well, probably.
Just saying.
Like a lot of them died before they could get any older.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess if you go into like really old graveyards, I've noticed there's a lot of kids there. Yeah. It scares the shit out of me. Like it always makes me so sad.
Yeah. I've heard like a few stories of like really, really old folks, like 90 years old or something. I don't know, they're Irish or Italian or somebody with a huge amount of family and be like, yeah, I had like 10 brothers and like 7 sisters and I don't know, 8 of them died before they were 5.
Yeah.
And that was just how life was.
That was just life. And that's why the mortality rate has changed so much dramatically. It wasn't because people didn't live as long. It's because there was so much infant death and young death, right?
Exactly. Yeah. If you go back to like medieval times, if you go like that far back, we weren't living as long.
Right.
Like we could, absolutely. There were individuals that
there
lived
was
to
a
be like
possibility.
80.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly like you said. So many of us died when we were just wee little humans.
Yeah. So anyway, weird tangent, but contraception.
Yeah. So back in the day, ancient Egyptians used to mix honey and something called acacia together to form like a block, like a solid thing.
Right.
They basically shoved it up their vagina and it sealed off their cervix. And then afterwards, I guess they would dig around in there.
Oh, that sounds so uncomfortable.
Oh, it gets worse.
No.
Then, I don't know if you've heard this one before, but crocodile dung.
Wait, what?
Again, ancient Egyptians. Yeah. For whatever reason, they believed that if you shoved a bunch of crocodile shit up your pussy, it would prevent pregnancy.
I hate it.
Yep.
Thanks. I really hate that.
Yeah.
That's like the oldest form of the Alabama Hot Pocket.
Wait, what?
Don't ask.
You said it. I have to know.
No, just think about it.
The Alabama Hot Pocket?
Yeah.
Tell me.
No. Look it up on Urban Dictionary.
Okay, fine.
Leave that to your own personal research.
No, I'm doing it on podcast time.
God damn it, I could tell you. I just don't want to. It feels gross, but it's the same deal.
Me and this girl last night were doing some kinky shit, and then I gave her an Alabama Hot Pocket, but it doesn't. Wait, reverse Alabama Hot Pocket?
No.
No! Why? A sex move where one shits into the woman's vagina. Oh my God. That's not real life.
It's on Urban Dictionary, so it's got to be real. Yeah, it's bad.
Gross.
Don't you dare kink shame anybody, Jesse.
Lead and mercury.
Wait, lead and mercury were used as contraception?
So ancient Egyptians again,
what
Assyrians,
the hell, guys?
Greeks, and Chinese
women. They
women.
really didn't want to get pregnant, and they were very, very
they would drink liquid mercury and liquid lead, or even arsenic, or combinations of all of them.
Okay, well, I mean, that is effective, for men.
Yeah, but it was women. It's all women.
Oh.
Men are never responsible.
Why are men do men always get off? Like, why is it always the woman that has to be contraceived?
Because dudes suck.
Yeah, like you unload the gun, you don't put on another bulletproof vest.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
But that's what they used to poison
But I guess if you
themselves
drank enough of any of those things, you can't get pregnant if you're dead. So
Jesus. Murder?
Just drink all this mercury and you won't get pregnant. Wasn't a lie.
I guarantee
she just didn't make it. She just didn't make it. So she can't get pregnant now.
Then we have silphium, which was a thing in ancient Rome and Greece. Women used an oral contraceptive called silphium, which was basically a species of giant fennel. And then they would soak cotton or lint in the juice of the herb and then insert that cotton into their vaginas.
Okay.
They thought that would prevent it.
I just don't get, like, the logic doesn't add up for me. Even back in those days, like, you don't think that, did they not know that it was the man getting the woman pregnant?
Well, I don't think, like, I don't know. I didn't look it up or anything, but I don't think they really knew sperm was like a thing.
Yeah, I guess they wouldn't.
They just knew that sex led to babies, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they.
But if they were smart enough to block off the cervix, then.
Well, I guess they must have known that then
it had something to do with something getting in there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah.
Dummies. Bunch of dummies.
There's Queen Anne's lace, which was an effective form of birth control used for thousands of years.
Oh, yeah.
Some people still use it today.
Wait, what?
Actually, yeah.
Okay. What is it?
It's basically referred to as wild carrot. Hippocrates, 2,000 years ago, used it as an oral contraceptive. Unfortunately, though, Queen Anne's lace chemically resembles hemlock, which is highly toxic. So, it's effective, but it also wasn't great.
And people are still using this?
Yeah, apparently some women. I'm sure it's like kooky ladies. I don't know. I don't want to shit on anybody that does it, but
But also it's kind of harmful to do it.
Yeah.
If it's analogous to hemlock, that's some toxic shit.
Yeah. Then we have olive oil.
Olive oil?
Yeah. Proposed by Aristotle. Women in Greece used olive and cedar oils to decrease sperm mobility. And then, so the idea was they would pump themselves full of olive oil. And then it would reduce the mobility. Coating. Yeah. Just all up in there. And then it would basically give them enough time to like douche themselves out.
Okay.
So they just thought it would slow it down, and then they could really rush in there, douche that stuff, and then they'd be fine.
Those poor women. I tell you, man.
Yeah. Lemon was also very common. People would shove citric acid up there.
Oh, no.
Believing that it had spermicidal qualities.
I mean, it's acidic.
Which it does.
So, yeah.
But yeah, they would like shoot it up there. Or they would soak sponges or cotton in lemon juice and just let it soak in there for a while.
Right.
There were also douches. So in a very similar vein, women would shoot up seawater, lemon juice, and vinegar, things of that nature.
God damn.
And then, then we had condoms. 1600s were the first known use. And of course, it was animal membranes. So we have intestines, bladders, things like that.
Right. Wow, and, that was a lot more of a journey than I thought it would be.
Yeah, lots of different ways, I guess, right? Like it's not too surprising, I guess, that we, over the years, had a bunch of different ways. But
yeah, I guess.
All of which sound horrible, by the way.
Yeah, it sounds rough.
Sounds fucking horrible.
Like all of that sucked.
Yeah.
I hated it. But yeah, humanity is a weird thing, man.
My favorite part was the Alabama Hot Pocket.
No.
Who invented the squatty potty and what inspired it? As a lover of the squatty potty, I
love my squatty potty.
Wanted to delve a little deeper. Bobby, Judy, and Bill Edwards were the inventors of the squatty potty.
Thank you, fellas.
A company whose worth is now north of $100 million.
Hell yeah.
Good job.
Well, dude, I mean, it's a life-changing product.
Yeah.
Like, speaking from personal experience, I poop in luxury, man.
We do not go to the bathroom very well.
No.
In the West.
No, we suck at it.
I think bidets are probably the number one. And then I'd put a squatty potty behind a bidet personally. But those two things are so cheap and improve your quality of life so much.
They do. They really, really do. Yeah. And as a hairy man, having a squatty potty and a bidet is like, I don't poop anywhere else. Yeah. I make sure that I do it here where it's comfortable and I'm going to have the luxury experience that I deserve.
That fits my needs.
That fits my needs.
Yeah, it's great. They're great.
So
and they
were
invented by, I think Judy was the original inventor, but Bobby and Bill kind of snuck their way in there and helped run the company. So their names were listed, but I do think it's Judy.
Well, you do need help, right? Like you're probably going to need help to push a product like that, you know?
Yeah. And while I couldn't find anything concrete, they likely took inspiration from the many cultures around the globe that squat to poop.
Yeah.
Because there's two types of poopers on Earth.
Are there?
You got your sitters and you got your squatters. So a ton of countries squat. I know China, Indonesia, the Philippines, Bangladesh, Pakistan, South Korea, Taiwan, and a ton of others all squat.
Yeah.
Not all of them squat, but...
And Japan.
Yeah, Japan. Did I miss Japan? Yeah, Japan does that too. The two primary reasons for squatting just seem to be a lack of toilets in general.
Right.
And bidets. So like all the squatter countries are all have bidets essentially.
Yeah, it's a pretty regular thing.
You just need it.
Yeah.
But there are benefits to it, right? Like physiologically, we are more efficient at pooping when we are squatting.
Yeah, apparently it straightens out your colon a bit more or something, right?
Exactly. That's exactly what it does, yeah. There's like a little bend when we sit, and putting our legs up gets rid of it, unkinks the chain.
Yeah.
And
makes sense. Gotta make sure that hose is straight.
Exactly, yeah. We evolved to squat ultimately, right? Like we were squatters for millions of years. So, yeah. You asked this one, which was pretty vague. What is the number one bungee jumping location and why?
Yeah. I don't know why I asked this question, but I was curious.
Well, I kind of have an answer for you.
All right.
The Zhangjiajie.
It's Chinese, I'm assuming.
It's Chinese glass bridge bungee in China. So it's the longest in the world at 260 meters.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Which is like very neat.
Yeah.
I tried looking up information on the busiest one, but there just wasn't numbers available.
Right.
So the longest one is in China, 260 meters.
Okay, cool.
And
it's off of a glass bridge.
Yeah, it's off of a glass bridge.
That's insane.
Yes,
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
All right, let's go do it.
I'd love to. I'm slightly terrified though, because you can have like aneurysms, which is one of my like crazy fears.
Yeah, it's like your main
doing it. Like if you've got like a weakness in your freaking
well, it's only one way to find out.
Brain, yeah. I mean, that's one way to go.
Yeah.
You know, truly be bungee jumping.
Yeah, there's line snaps or
yeah. Oh, have you seen any of those videos?
Yeah, it's scary as fuck.
I don't know how you don't plan that out.
Yeah.
Like I guess anyone can just set up and buy a bungee cord.
Yeah. And then you can jump and hope it works out.
Yeah, I'd love to one day. There's one on near the Capilano Bridge in BC.
Oh, yeah.
That's very cool.
They're installing
it's
one
like
in
over
Golden.
a canyon. Really?
Yeah.
Ooh, Golden would be great for it.
They just built a rope bridge there too.
Did they really?
Yeah. They're actually doing a bunch of stuff.
I
They're also
love
putting in
Golden.
like a zip line as well.
Good.
Yeah.
Where's this is such a side note tangent that nobody's gonna know about. Where's the fucking forest? Do you remember the forest?
The Enchanted Forest?
The Enchanted Forest. Whereabouts is that? Is that closer to Revelstoke or is that closer to
It's
Golden?
it's close-ish to Golden. I think it's a bit closer to Revelstoke than Golden though.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. The Enchanted Forest. Yeah, go check it out if you're ever on the road to Revelstoke or Kelowna or just in that general BC
Somewhere.
area.
Yeah. It's along the Transcontinental Highway in BC somewhere.
Yes.
It's got
I don't know exactly where.
Yeah.
But I know that I just drove past it like a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, you did. Yeah, it's definitely before Kelowna.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was completely unrelated to anything.
Yeah.
Wasn't even related to bungee jumping. It just popped into my brain. But
Yeah.
what is the actual measure of horsepower / how do they measure the power of one horse?
Yeah, that's something I'm wondering about.
So essentially all I got was horsepower, the common unit of power, i.e. the rate at which work is done. In the British imperial system, 1 horsepower equals 33,000 foot-pounds of work per minute. So that's the power necessary to lift a total mass of 33,000 pounds, 1 foot in 1 minute.
Okay.
Which is kind of all I got. Wasn't able to find how they measured the power of a horse per se.
Or why it's based on horsepower, why it's called horsepower.
Yeah, I didn't really get that far, to be honest with you. This one was kind of a quick one and done, but it did kind of blow my mind at like 33,000 pounds.
That's a lot.
And my car, it's just like a basic 4-cylinder Ford, but it's like 180 or something horsepower.
Yeah.
That's a lot of freaking pounds.
Yeah, that's a lot of horsepower. That's a lot of horses.
That's a
lot of foot pounds.
That's a lot. Just really put into perspective how powerful some of these freaking cars are.
Yeah, when you hear a car that's got like 250 horsepower and you're like, cool, that's neat.
Or like, doesn't the Hellcat have like 700 horsepower or something insane?
Perhaps. I know nothing about the Hellcat.
Me neither. It's got a cool name. It's got a lot of horsepower.
It's got a cool name, lots of horsepower, lots of horses in that boy. Ooh, slap the roof.
This bad boy can fit so much fucking spaghetti in it. Then we have, why do some farmers' fields appear circular from above? Something I noticed when I went on a plane for the first time was, so many of them. You're just like flying over just circles, constant, giant circles. And the answer was exactly what I thought it was going to be. So it's due to something called center pivot irrigation.
Ah, right.
Which is literally exactly what it sounds like. It's a giant length of tubage and like sprinklers. It's a really long
things that are on wheels,
system.
right?
Yeah, yeah. And they just
spin around
in a circle. And that's it.
It's very neat.
I guess the convenience of having that system outweighs the benefits of like making use of all the land. Because there's definitely like a bunch of wasted land, right? If you're looking at a squared piece of land.
Yeah, totally. But I can see that being more efficient just because you can just hook it up.
Yeah.
And drive in a circle.
It must be, right? If that's how all the farmers are doing it.
And then you just have like, I suppose you could do like somehow on a rail system. It would be a lot more complicated.
Yeah.
Right. And then you could do a square field. But I don't know. The thing that I always liked about being in an airplane is being able to see the separation of property.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual property lines.
Yeah.
Where like the colors change and all that kind of stuff.
And to see like how many different like crops farmers are growing in one like presumed I don't know, plot of land. Because you only see what you can see from the road, right?
Yeah.
But there's so much freaking land outside of that.
Yeah, it's so vast and you only see so much. But when you get an aerial view, it's all like so quilted together.
Yeah.
It's very cool, I think.
Yeah. I remember being able to recognize canola.
Oh, yeah.
With all the little yellow dots around.
Yeah.
Hey, cool.
That's canola. I don't know what that is, but I know that's
Everything
canola.
else you can't really tell, I think, right? Maybe wheat. I don't know. Everything else is just green. That's green.
We're not
green.
farmers, though, you know?
Yeah.
We don't have the farmer's eye.
Farmer's eye view. I don't know.
The farmer's vision.
Yeah. But that's why.
Neato.
Center pivot irrigation.
Very cool.
Why were ancient animals bigger than they are now?
Ancient animals? I might know the answer to this.
Shoot.
Is it because of the concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere?
Partly. Mostly. Yeah.
Okay.
So like I knew that already for bugs because I knew we used to have like 3-foot long dragonflies or like crazy things like that. I did know that. So yeah, basically there's a few possible explanations. The first being Earth was much more oxygen rich.
Right.
So this allowed bugs especially to grow to massive sizes compared to today.
Sure.
As animals get bigger, their lungs and hearts have to work harder to transport the oxygen throughout their bodies, right?
Right, yes.
That's kind of pretty basic stuff. But essentially, with a more oxygen-rich environment, the heart and lungs just had to work a little less hard than they normally would.
Right.
And that was compensated to
growing bigger.
To growing bigger.
I guess that makes sense, you know?
Yeah. Certain dinosaurs also had like bird-like bones.
Right, so they were light.
Yeah, so they were light.
They were large but light.
Yeah, and they didn't collapse upon themselves by the sheer weight. Because I think like one of the biggest dinosaurs ever recorded, or land dinosaurs anyways, was like 47 tons or something, like 7 times the size of an elephant.
Right.
So yeah, the hollow bones definitely help with that.
Oh, for sure.
There's also something cool. It's a theory called the Copes rule or the Copes rule.
Okay.
Anyways, it states that animals continue to grow larger the longer a species is around.
Oh.
And that once like an extinction level event occurs, the bigger animals die off and the smaller animals that survive grow on to be bigger over time in their place.
Okay.
Which is like fairly easily disputed since we have evidence of animals growing smaller over time.
Right, yes.
So yeah, if being smaller becomes advantageous to survival, a species will definitely adapt to be smaller.
Yeah, but especially since chickens are related to T-Rex.
Yeah.
And like
so much tinier, right?
Yeah, I'm not afraid of chickens.
Yeah. But like it for a long time apparently it made a lot of sense cuz that is weirdly how it worked. Like I was thinking about this earlier today, but even like our last extinction level event, the Ice Age.
Right.
We had huge animals. We had the saber-toothed tiger, the woolly mammoth, we had the giant sloth or whatever its name was, and then extinction level event, all the big ones are gone and
all the small ones survive.
Who knows? And then I also thought about how like humans in general are becoming larger.
Right.
But I know that that's like thought to be just because we're more resilient to disease and we're healthier as children and we can grow bigger from that. But
and there's more hormones in everything now.
Yeah. We could maybe one day we'll be like 8 feet tall or something.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Just a society of giants.
Yeah. Basketball gets cooler and cooler.
We're going to have to redo all the doors.
Yeah.
That's going to be annoying.
We already should. I mean,
yeah. Well,
if I was any taller, I would have to duck through doors.
That's true.
And like, I think Ev has to duck through doors.
Yeah. I think I've seen him duck through
like
quite a few doors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I love going to his house. So for those who don't know, Everett is a really tall friend. He's like 6'4", 6'5" or something. And he's got 3 older brothers that are all taller than he is.
Yeah, he's the short one.
And I'm 6'2.5", 6'3" on a good day, whatever.
On your stretchy days?
On my stretchy days. And going to his house is like a godsend. Everything's huge. Like the shower is actually
the shower
above my head. It's so nice. We should be doing it already if you ask me, but hey.
All right.
When was the first burger created?
The first burger.
Matt and I got in like a mini argument.
Yeah.
Where I was wrong because I really truly thought burgers were older than they were. But apparently the first hamburger was created in 1900 by Louis Lassen, a Danish immigrant, owner of Louis's Lunch, a small lunch wagon, which I think is like a food truck.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. Like, was that maybe the first food truck ever?
Yeah.
It's not like a lunch. It's not like a lunch stand. It's a
lunch wagon.
So it's
implying
a wagon.
That it's portable. So it's got to be.
But yeah. So anyway, it's also astounding that the burger wasn't invented until 1900.
Yeah.
Because we had sandwiches for a long time. And the burger is essentially just a sandwich. But with,
it's not like some revolutionary thing, right? It's just a chunk of fucking meat that you put between bread.
Yeah, which is still a sandwich, but it's a burger now.
Yeah.
So whoop-de-friggin' do.
Apparently, it gained national recognition at the St. Louis World Fair in 1904.
Okay.
And then obviously, I guess they've taken off ever since because...
Yeah, burger joints.
Yeah.
Have you noticed all the burgers we're surrounded by on a daily basis?
Constantly. I had a burger for dinner.
You did have a burger for dinner.
It was great.
And I had a burger for lunch 9 times out of 10 in the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
Freaking A&W being so close.
So good.
That damn Beyond Burger. I hate it now. I hate the Beyond Burger.
Have you just had too much
I just have had too many Beyond Burgers and I'm done.
It's a damn tasty burger.
It is, but I'm over it.
Yeah. Pack your own lunches, man.
I have been recently, but there was years there.
Temptation. I get it. Hey, when I was in university, I had a foot-long Subway sub for lunch every single day.
Yeah. It's just that convenience factor, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I get it.
It's right there. I don't have to do anything.
Next question. How do maglev trains stop? I've always wondered about that. It's supposed to be zero friction or, as close to zero as we can get with an atmosphere.
But don't you need friction to stop?
Yeah.
How do you do it?
And I'm not going to get into it, like the really sciencey stuff, because honestly, I didn't understand it.
Yeah. Well, you're not a scientist. So
went way over my head. I'm not a physicist. I'm not an electrician. I don't know. So apparently, and I didn't know this, but the magnetism, the magnets and whatnot, all they do really is just make the train float. So I thought like inherently, I don't know, maybe the placement of them or something propelled them forward.
That was also its propulsion?
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. But it's not. It really, truly just
makes it float. Okay.
And then an electrical current is pushed through the magnets and through the train or something. I don't even know. An electrical current is involved that propels the train forward.
Okay.
When it needs to stop, they simply reverse the electrical current, and then the force of motion just goes against the train and eventually stops it.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's the very simplified version that I understand.
So they just reverse the current,
and then it just provides like reverse thrust essentially on the train, and it'll stop.
I guess that makes sense. I have no idea how they work still.
Me neither.
I'm not sure I'll ever really find out.
This might be a comforting fact for you. They also have wheels. A lot of them do have wheels.
Like backup wheels?
Yeah, like backup wheels that have standard brakes.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured that would be a good safeguard just in case, the electricity went out or something, Yeah. Because you is it electromagnets that make it float as well?
Correct?
I would think so.
I don't know. I'm bullshitting. I don't even...
Mother forking bullshitting?
Magnets and electricity are involved, and
and that train go.
Basically.
Yeah.
This one's like a little weird, but I've always wondered, what does per second mean?
Per second. See, you said this, and I didn't know what you were talking about. I had no idea what you meant.
Yeah, and I can't think of it's so frustrating for me because I can't think of an actual concrete example, but I feel like in so many movies, there's always been some sciencey guy that some really smart guy that's like, oh my God, the missile is traveling at a rate of 1,000 feet per second.
Per second.
Or the bullet traveled at 200 feet per second or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I just can't put that together in my head.
Okay, but it's like a thing. I've heard it.
Yeah.
In movies and stuff.
I believe you. I trust you.
Okay, so essentially what it is it's a unit used for acceleration when the changes in velocity per second is divided by the change in time.
Okay.
Which is also in seconds.
Right.
So it's the measurement of acceleration of distance traveled in seconds and how much that accelerates within a second of time. Does that make any sense to you at all?
I'm trying. I'm really trying.
It's a measurement of distance traveled per second.
Yes.
And then a measurement of the rate of acceleration, how much it accelerates per second.
Oh, yes. Okay. So it's kind of the stacking speed of something.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
You think about it as acceleration per second. And like, I don't know, it sort of makes sense.
So it's going, like, let's just say it's going 10 meters per second. So it would be an exponential curve then, essentially, until it stops.
So, yeah. So 10 meters per second would be, it travels 10 meters in a second, and then it would be 10 meters per second would mean that it's accelerating at a rate of 10 meters. Like it's going to be per second. It's going to be accelerating 10 meters every second.
Okay.
So like the rate of that, it'll accelerate 10 meters per second.
Every second.
Okay. So yeah, I think so, right? I don't know. Let me try to figure this out. I have a fucking example. Here we go. Okay. The velocity increased from 5 meters per second to 20 meters per second in a time interval of 1 second.
Okay.
So if in 1 second something moves, at the start of that second, it's moving at 5 meters. And at the end of that second, it's moving at 20 meters per second.
Right.
The time interval or the acceleration would be 15 meters per second.
Okay. Yeah.
So the difference of what it was traveling at the start of that second versus the end of that second.
So it's literally an acceleration curve.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's exponential until it's stopped or slowed or whatever it is.
I guess, yeah. I don't know. I assume it's like a bell curve where, it rises up per second. And then, like, if we're talking about like a bullet fired or something, then like it would slow down.
Started off at 5 meters per second, went to 10 meters, went to 15, went to 20.
Yeah, and then I guess
by the end of the second, it was
negative.
at 20. And then by the end of that next second, it would be at 35.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it would accelerate to a point, and then it would drop.
Yeah. I really hope you guys smoked weed before this episode.
I think I understand, though.
Yeah.
I think I get it.
Yeah. I think I somewhat understand.
I learned something about something I didn't know about before, so that's pretty neat.
It's a real unit. Yeah, it's a unit used for acceleration.
Cool beans.
Yep.
The train go.
Yeah, the train is moving. When a maglev train moves at a rate of 15 meters per second, and then it needs to stop.
Dude, stop with all your smart stuff. I'm getting way too much smartness over here.
I'm educated, man.
You trying to get smart with me?
Enough with them $10 words.
Yes.
And $1,000 topics. Let's go to why is a horse's height measured in hands?
Why?
Have you ever heard of that? Where it's like, this stallion's 30 hands tall.
Yes, I have heard that before.
I
live in Alberta.
Stallion. Yeah.
I hope you know.
So essentially, horses are measured in hands because they didn't have standard measuring tools in ancient societies. So they commonly used hands to measure horses.
Right.
This tradition continued on to the present day. And now 1 hand is considered 4 inches. So a 50-hand horse is 60 inches tall.
Wow.
So it's just like feet.
Yeah, just like feet.
Except for some reason we used hands because I guess it was easier to stack.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess you could really like...
As opposed to lying on your back and like walking in the air or something.
Like, hey, Dan, give me your feet for a second. I just need to measure something.
Yeah.
Like I can use my own hands for this. Wow. Climb the ladder.
Yeah. Just crazy. Very cool. Now we know. How does a sniper confirm a kill? I've always been curious about that.
Yeah.
I've got 20 confirmed kills.
But how did you confirm?
it?
Who confirmed it?
So essentially the kill has to be witnessed and logged by another soldier.
Oh.
Usually the sniper's spotter.
Right. That would make sense.
Yeah. But it also makes me a little sus of like the people that have like crazy confirmed kills. Because I feel like there's at a certain point in like a war zone, like there might be like some ego involved or something. Like
sure. Like, no, I killed him. I know I did.
You're not like verifying. You're not going up to the body or anything.
And there's like collusion with the spotter or with the witness.
Like you're a team, right? Like I feel like any kill is absolutely a team effort in that situation. Yeah. So like maybe
it's a success for the two.
Exactly.
And you don't want to admit that you failed, especially in a war zone or in a situation that involves one side doing better than the other.
So it just made me a little sus of the numbers a little bit, just knowing that.
Yeah, and I think it's fair to be a little bit, I don't know, skeptical about it.
But that's it. That's really all it is. Just, witnessed and logged by another soldier. Navy SEAL Chris Kyle served 4 tours during the Iraq War, and during that time, he became the most lethal sniper in U.S. military history with over 160 kills. officially confirmed by the Department of Defense.
He himself is the weapon.
Yeah. If you recognize that name, it's because he was the guy featured in or portrayed by Bradley Cooper in American Sniper.
Yes. America, the movie.
Truly. All right. So we're on to the last one. And this one's yours, Matt.
Yeah, cap it off with a good one.
I know. When was the first vibrator invented? Who invented it? And why?
Why, God? Why?
So the answer is we don't have an answer.
Cool. Yeah.
There's a common misconception that some random psychiatrist invented it, like vibrators in the early 20th century to treat women who are suffering from quote-unquote hysteria. But that's actually not true.
Myth busted.
Myth busted. God, I miss those guys.
Yeah, me too.
Man. So yeah, no one's credited as having invented it.
Okay.
What we do know is that in the 1800s, something called vibrating tables were showing up in France.
Vibrating tables.
Vibrating tables where you could like lie on a table and the whole thing would kind of shake a little bit.
Kind of like a massage bed, sort of.
Sort of, but like a hard table.
Yeah.
So that was like a thing. In the 1920s, vibrators were used to cure impotence in men.
Okay.
That is confirmed. And apparently back in the day, like just men's sexuality was a lot more valid and open and accepted.
Right.
In like Western society.
Because the patriarchy.
Yeah. So men actually started using vibrators first, really.
Huh.
In the Western world.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Just like how pink was initially invented for men as well.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Well, not invented. We didn't invent pink. But like pink clothing and stuff was initially made for men. So were skirts.
Skirts, I was going to say. Yeah. Skirts as well. After that, though, we can kind of jump forward 50 years to the 70s.
The 70s.
And the invention of the Hitachi Magic Wand.
The most incredible invention ever invented by any inventor.
Yeah. Which really like just like kind of kickstarted the whole personal vibrator thing.
Yeah.
To this day, I think it's
But I know people that still
popular.
Use the Hitachi Magic Wand.
Me too. Me too.
So
fair few ladies I know.
Yep. It's just, I guess it's the perfect invention. No need to upgrade or
it's also powerful as fuck compared to like other vibrators.
No need to innovate. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just.
That's because it's actually designed for like impact massaging.
Yes.
Right? Like that's what it was initially made for.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's durable. It's great. Rave
Lasts
reviews.
forever. Yeah.
Then we can jump to the late 80s and 90s. Masturbation became just more and more mainstream, and the rabbit vibrator dominated the market.
Right. The one that goes in and
stimulates the old clitoris there. Yeah.
The clitoris.
Love it. And then my favorite fact about this one, we're going to end the episode on this one because I thought it was just so goofy and so stupid.
All right.
It's not true, but it's hilarious.
Okay.
In her 1992 Encyclopedia of Unusual Sex Practices, Brenda Love claimed that Cleopatra used a gourd filled with bees to stimulate her genitals.
No! A gourd filled with bees? No!
Oh, that just cracks me the fuck up. I want it to be true so bad. God. I want it to be true so fucking bad.
That's terrifying.
Can you imagine the poor slave that had to fill that fucking gourd?
You fill this with bees.
Like, jeez.
Okay. Why?
You would need so many bees in that.
That's a lot of bees
to get it going.
Yeah, for like a decent vibrational energy.
No way to do that discreetly either. Just
no. Like, what is there a beehive around here? Yeah. It's like, no, it's just Cleopatra. I'm like, what?
You imagine losing your grip on that thing, being a little too vigorous and shattering the gourd or something?
Endless pain.
That's it.
Wow, that was fun.
It was.
I think we learned some stuff. And I hope that you learned some stuff too, viewers or listeners, I mean. So yeah, that was great. And thanks for sticking with us for the first 12 episodes of this show we're making.
Yeah.
That's season 1.
It's been a pleasure. It really
wrapped and ready to ship off to every major outlet in America. And yeah, just thanks. We love doing this, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I love doing it.
I love doing it too. It's fun.
And it's great. And thank you so much for listening. And yeah.
Yeah, thanks for sticking along. And
while we're on hiatus making season 2, You can follow us on Twitter. I'll make sure to keep you updated on what we're doing, what we're talking about. I won't give away too much, but, little updates here and there.
Well, I want to say something.
You want to say something?
Because I mentioned in, I don't know, the last episode or the one before that Area 51 was going to be a thing. Aliens were going to be a thing. We didn't end up covering it this season. We're going to have a two-parter opening up for season 2 on Area 51.
Two-part episode.
Just a little teaser. I'm going on a deep dive on this one. They'll probably be our longest episodes. I'm very, very excited.
Very stoked.
It's going to be fun.
Man, I can't wait. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
And our Twitter handle is at It's 3 a.m. pod. That's at It's 3 a.m. pod. And with that,
go to bed, everybody.
Yeah, go to bed.